Hey, pretty exciting. I just got a package from Warmoth, so I'm gonna do a little unboxing here. Grab my trusty knife. Hey guys, you're seeing this as I am. So you may notice something on this neck other than it being roasted. It's got stainless steel frets, which none of my guitars currently have. I use normally nickel, but that's just what I'm used to. Looks really nice. And what you may notice also, I'm a right-handed player, but this, I got the reverse headstock. So it would look like something like this when I play it. And I got hip shot tuners. I've been using Godot. I wanted to try something different. Here the hip shot. This is the upgrade kit. And I got the staggered tuners. And I have not used hip shot before. These are locking tuners. And I have a Godot 510 bridge that I'll be installing. I'm kind of going for a guitar that's a bit like a Charvel meets a Suhr guitar.
Your picture was on the dashboard, it can't be far behind. I say that I might miss you, but that would be a lie. Your heart used to be my road.
Sometimes on washers there's a round edge and a sharp edge. I don't feel a noticeable difference on these guys though. Maybe a little bit. So there's a place where I could put in screws and not have these plates here. But I'm gonna give this a shot for a bit. I've put screws into headstocks before, or drilled and then put screws in with a varying degree of success. I think that looks pretty good. More stuff arrived for my guitar project, as you can see here. The tremolo, some pickups by Suhr, and some other stuff by Warmoth. And this would be the thing I'm working on today. Drilling in a volume knob and a 3-way toggle switch. This is going to be a HS guitar, single coil humbucker combination. I'm pretty stoked about this. One of my favorite guitar players is Warren D. Martini from Rat and George Lynch from Dokken and Lynch Mob. I really like this configuration.
At the end of the day, you've become that wish you fear for the pushing me.
Now that I have the holes drilled out here, this one needs to be opened up just a little bit more for the 3-way toggle switch to fit properly. It's just a little bit too big for that hole. So this seems to be doing the trick. As you can see here, I'm using the non-drill side of this drill bit, and I wrapped it with some 320 sandpaper. You can see that it's taking off some material there. Just have to widen this hole just enough for that 3-way toggle switch to fit in properly. And then I think we're there. We'll be able to take off this protective plastic and see what we have.
I'm the damaged one, clinging to
reached out to Suhr via email to ask about pickup combinations. I wanted to try Pete Thorne's Thornbucker, but wasn't sure if I wanted to go with the Thornbucker Plus and whether to pair it with the single coil V60 or V60 low peak version. I ended up going with the V60 LP, the low peak version, which should take some of the high transparencies off. For the humbucker, I went with the Thornbucker Plus to hopefully find a good range of vintage and modern rock tones. I think both pickups fall in the vintage vibe arena. Normally at this stage, I'm kind of pulling out my hair and trying to figure out what goes where. Plus I have that resistor right there in the middle of the screen, which is 510K. I had an option to use, I think, a 470K. I don't know the technical terms, but to balance these two out so the humbucker doesn't sound considerably louder, I'm using a 500K volume potentiometer, and I'm putting a resistor on there. 250 is common for single coils and 500 is common for humbuckers, but because I'm using one of each and I don't have a tone knob, the 510K resistor should bring down the single coil, which would make it resist down to roughly 250 versus 500, which the pot is rated, which is fine for the humbucker, and the resistor won't have anything to do with that.
Right until your fingers bleed. It's your call. Do white girl. Stretch your arms. Right until your fingers bleed. The shakes got so bad. Phrases that I've just.
The resistor is built on one wire that goes between the volume pot and the three-way toggle switch, and those two things are stationary, and if one of them were to move, then I don't know what will happen to that wire, if it would bend or straight up pop off. So I made a heat sink with needle nose pliers to cut off a piece of wire that's flexible, and I'm hoping that adding that little bit of length, if something were to happen, that would bend and not the wire of the resistor. I'm just making this up. I don't know if it works or if this is like a standard go-to method, but that's what I'm doing, so hopefully this works. Okay, the moment of truth. I've soldered everything to the best of my ability, and I just wanted to do a test run. So we're looking for sound coming out of here, here, and both. We have it in the bridge position, and I'm just gonna turn up the volume here. Okay, that's good. That's not so good. Middle position, and neck position. Okay, so I need to figure that part out. I'm gonna look at the wiring again and see where I screwed up.
One eternity later.
Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to see the rest of this build series.